I'm just going to start recording now. Sorry guys, I missed the first half of the recording. We're a few pages in, but you'll get the rest of the information. So self-sabotage, 7 tips to break the pattern. Know what the pattern is. How does it play out for you? Look in the different areas of your life. Step number 3, very important, create another option. Create another pathway in your brain that it can go to instead of the self-sabotage pattern trying to keep you safe. Practice it in your brain. So that literally, I mean, wake up every morning or set some time every single day to practice this new reality. Recognize the pattern. How is it playing out? How can I change it? And then practice the change in your brain. Notice how you might be feeling. And if it feels uncomfortable or uncertain, just change it. It's only in your brain. Your brain doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and vividly imagine and an actual memory. So you eating breakfast this morning is the same thing to your brain as you eating dinner tonight. The only difference is the emotion we choose to put with it consciously or subconsciously as a human. So imagine that. If your brain doesn't know the difference between something that's actually happened and something that could happen tonight, imagine the power in that. Now my battery's going flat. This battery's going flat. So that's on now. We'll close the power mode. Oh, it's just the day for it, isn't it? This computer's just completely turned off. The joys of having so many computers. At least it's being recorded now, so we'll be able to get to it. Okay, so you've got to ask yourself, is this what I really want? A lot of the time the pattern runs, one, because I said earlier, we don't know what it is we really want. And if you can't get to the next thing, it's because maybe you don't really want it. So we've got to get really clear about what it is you want. And some of you might have heard this example, but when I first heard this, I just started questioning, what do I really want out of this interaction? What do I really want? Or why did I do that? What did I want out of that scenario? And it really landed for me one day. I used to be a giver. I used to give gifts to people. And I saw this shirt and it was on sale and it was pretty cool. And it was a gym workout shirt. And I thought, oh, I'm just going to buy that for my sister. And it wasn't until I asked myself this question that I learned stuff about it. So I gave it to my sister and she loved it and it was great and it was good. And I said to myself, what did I really want in that exchange? What did I really want? And the top part of my brain, the surface answer was, you wanted to give your sister a gift. And then when I went down deeper, it was like, hold on a second. I could have given her anything. What did I really want out of that? And I realized I was giving the gifts because I wanted acknowledgement. Like I wanted acknowledgement that I was thinking about her, that I loved her, and all the thing I wanted her to feel good. So when I pinpointed down, what do I really want? When you can discover that about yourself, it's easier to bust and break these patterns because you get more clear about who you are and what drives you. We want to know what drives you. So another way to bust these self-sabotage patterns, because sometimes they are hard to recognize because we're so deep in them. We're just running them constantly day in and day out and they become our normal. So if you're having trouble, you've got, some work to do, some growth to do, but you can't necessarily uncover the pattern, look at the past patterns or look at the patterns of your parents or your caregivers, because they're the ones that taught us. Hey, Sam, good to see you. So if you look at the past patterns, and we're not blaming anybody here, a lot of them are just doing their thing and doing the best that they can. But if we look at their patterns and we dissect that, it can give us a really good indicator about what our patterns might be, because humans learn by watching. Humans, little babies, learn to walk and talk in the most basic element just by watching, by studying what other people do, and we copy them. So subconsciously, as we're growing up, whether it's your parents, your grandparents, but those adults around you, whatever self-sabotaging patterns they used to run, I can almost guarantee you're running the same things. And it's really easy to sit out here and look at somebody else and go, they do that, and that wrong, and be judgmental. And if I was them, I'd do it this. But until you walk a day in someone's shoes, that's just like getting an ego and being in judgment. That's not helping you with your personal growth. What that's doing is probably hindering your growth. But if you want to look at their patterns in the name of personal growth and uncovering your own, then that would be a different vibration. That would be a different way to look at it. So have a really close look at your parents, at your caregivers, at your grandparents, the people that you're spending your time with, because the patterns that they're running is likely similar to what you're running. You can dissect it. Don't make them bad or wrong or naughty, but just have awareness around it. The other thing, and this comes up nearly every week, regardless of the topic that we talk about, guys, is who are you spending your time with? Think of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And if you've worked with me for a little while, you know that when we first uncovered this, it was like, oh my gosh. And then you're going to look at the area of life that you're working with right now that we discovered in the pages above: health, wealth, finances, physique, relationships, whatever it is. And you're going to look at the 5 people you spend the most time with, and you're going to have a look at their patterns around those things. You are the sum or the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose wisely. It doesn't mean that everybody has to be at your standard all of the time, but we want to choose with awareness. Once again, we just don't want to take this subconscious, because I've always hung around them. Well, if it's not serving you, then it's probably not serving them. It might not be the best decision for you. And it doesn't mean you have to completely cut them off, but you have different awareness when you spend time with them. You have different awareness of what you say yes to and what you say no to. And just that in itself, if you have a look at who you're spending your time with and you change that, change the patterns around that, itself can help change the self-sabotage patterns. So moving along to the next page now. Visualization, timeline therapy. Like I said, your brain doesn't know the difference between something you vividly imagine and the actual memory. So this pattern that you're running to keep yourself safe, basically it's because the self-sabotage pattern is your 2 million year old reptile brain wanting to keep you safe. So it will tell you whatever the bloody hell it can to keep you safe. You're not good enough. It's not safe to be seen. So I demand my subconscious very regularly. I say to it, unless it's a life or death situation, or this is my ego, unless it's a life or death situation, you are not required. Stay in your box. Because it's that flight or fight feeling that when we're intertwining this spiritual realm, this spiritual world, the 5th dimension with a human dense body of matter and mass. And our brain, which is designed and wired, the 2 million year old brain is designed and wired to keep you alive. So that's like, it's not, you listened to my podcast this week, I gave an analogy of the crabs. I was walking along the boardwalk and all the crabs just scurried down into the hole. And I started questioning it because I am a deep little sensitive petal. Everybody else was talking about the weather or something. And as I'm walking, I was like, why did they all drop down the hole? And I was like, oh, it's a bit the same as humans. If one could, I was a perceived threat. As I was walking along the boardwalk, I'm a perceived threat to these crabs. So they all go down their hole. If I'm really a threat and one crab stays up there and sticks its head up and goes, hey, look at me, I'm amazing, I'm great, I've got a lot to offer the world, here, pick me, I'm going to pick the crab up and eat it and its life is finished. So it's like, well, humans are kind of same. And this is this brain, this self-sabotage brain, this thing that's trying to keep me safe, trying to keep me in a box. It's actually doing its job, and it's doing a really bloody good job of it. So we've got to tweak it, we've got to refine it, we've got to change it, and we've got to direct it. We are not the crab with a perceived threat coming up. We are a human with perceived threats all around us. So sometimes even when you walk into your house, what your brain's doing, if you don't have a nice clear space, even the clutter of your house becomes that perceived threat. And the brain is wired to be flicking on, flight or fight, adrenaline pumping, cortisol pumping. That's why so many of us are getting so tired. Because even just the mess around the house, the washing up on the bench, and then the ding ding of the phone, and then I'm not good enough, I need to do this, it's getting fired all the time, and it's not good for us. So yeah, keep that in mind. Demand your subconscious. So choose what you want and then just demand it. It likes straight, simple demand. So I say, unless it's life or death, stay in your box. I've got this. I'm going to sort it out. Jody, thanks for jumping back on. Demand it, command it. I did it this morning. I was walking and I was worried about something. I can't even remember what it is now, see how well it works. And I knew it was my self-sabotage pattern. And I just said out loud, like a crazy person, as I'm doing my walk, I said, subconscious, I demand you, command you to stay present with me right now. Focus on exactly what I'm doing in this moment. And then a few other things I demanded of, and I forgot about whatever was like churning my guts. Like it was, yeah, giving me a really hard time. We've had some rough times lately, had all different things in my business, in my personal life. And I'm like, I can sit and worry about that and run the pattern of worry, but that is just not doing any good for me. So I had to flick it and change it. So just demanded the subconscious to focus on what was present right now, which was probably this PowerPoint where I was out doing my walk. So you can do that too. Just demand your subconscious to do it. So remember, you are a creative being, and by being, you are creating. A lot of us think we have to do a lot of stuff to feel successful, feel accomplished. Sometimes by the less doing, the more you're actually being, the more you're getting done. It's a bit of a brain warp, but I cannot stress that enough for you guys. So many of us just get in this doing mode, this pattern, and sometimes the doing, listen to this, it's important, is the self-sabotage pattern. Doing all the stuff, filling our calendar to the brim is actually keeping us stuck because we don't have any time to be. And when we're being, we're creating. But what we've taught ourselves is the more we do, the better it is. The more we do, the more successful I am. The more we do, XYZ, insert your belief system here. It's not necessarily always true. So we've got to go in, pull it out, and change it around. So remember that. Walk around like a crazy person, demanding the subconscious to do what you want it to do. Very short, very sharp, and very simple commands. And that will that'll bust self-sabotage like that. Okay, all right, so take the next step. You need to read books, guys. If you haven't got a copy of my book, reach out. You can get it on the website. You've got lots of online options. A mastermind I'll tell you about in a little bit. And, you know, most importantly, why we do all these things is because we want to raise your vibration. So for those of you who don't know, Michelle and I just started another arm of our business with the little Healy device. So this is about raising your vibration and therefore raising your standards. So with the self-sabotage pattern, if you've got a low vibration in your body, in your relationships, or in your muscles, in your cells, then the things that you attract and magnetize to yourself will be of a lower vibration. So everything that we do, and I don't really ever say it like this, but everything we do, the life coaching, the books, the online courses, the jewelry, the Healy machine now, the essential oils, is about raising your vibration so you don't have to do more to get the things you want in your life. If I can raise your vibration by utilizing the community, the mastermind, the book, this Healy machine, you don't have to do as much. You can really just start to enjoy the whole process. So that Healy, if you want more information, you can just contact me separately. It works on chronic pain. It's a quantum healing device, and you're going to start hearing a lot more about it soon because it's only been soft launched in Australia. The full launch is in October. It's set up as a network marketing model, and we're at the top, like completely at the top, because we had been calling in and manifesting an opportunity like this for something to sort of pull together everything that we do. So it works with chronic pain, pretty much anything within your body. It can help with sleep. It helps with chronic pain. I heard Michelle speaking to someone the other day with fibromyalgia, however you say that. MS, one of my ladies had MS and she put it on yesterday and gone from a pain threshold of like 10 down to like a 3, because what it does is it reads your auric field or your vibration and it puts back into your electromagnetic field the vibration that is missing. So all your emotions, all your pains in your body, not sleeping well, all this stuff sits at a vibration. So when we can raise the vibration, you're going to get very natural, easy, and normal shifts and changes in your life. You all know me. I'm about, hey Candice, good to see you. I'm so much about working smarter, not harder. You guys all are amazing people and you've got a lot on your plate, especially in the year 2020. Like it's intense, very intense. So what I want for you is to be able to sort of collate everything and bring it together and just go, here, use this, do this. And then the standard of your life just very easy and effortlessly starts to raise. And that's what we're all about, raising that standard. So getting to the last of the pages now. I think I've nearly fit it in half an hour, which is a miracle, really. Hold this vision. So this is mine. You can choose your own. Obviously, I want to continue to work with people and do the retreats, which there's only 6 spots left. I'm trying to put this somewhere so you can see everything. There's only 6 spots left for the retreat and we will sell out. That's on the 11th, 12th, 13th of September, and it's at Pullen Vale, so it's quite close, and that's just 3 days of going in deep and pulling out all these mindset stuff and reinserting it with something more resourceful. I get to have you through your processes, which is really important. If we do the one-on-ones or on the webinar, I'm pressing the buttons, I'm pressing the triggers, and then you've got to go away, and then you've got to do the washing up or pick the kids up or hang the washing out or do the thing, and then you're focused on that. and then the triggers can reset. So when I've got you for 3 days, if you want to make a long lasting change, I am there. I see you process. I hold you in a container through the process. Michelle, my sister, and I are running it together. So she goes deep into the spiritual realm and world and vibration and energetics, and obviously the healing, and then shamanism and calling in all the, yeah, it's amazing. And then I'm really focused on the brain and how that works and the chemicals of the brain and how we can retrain it. So it's the best parts of spirituality and science together, blended together. My podcast is out. That was something else. So I'm up to episode number 11. This week was combined with this call, from self-sabotage to self-mastery. So a quick 20 minutes of the surface information about that for sort of the newbies that may have not heard about this concept before. And someone contacted me the other day and was like, oh, I was listening to that. It was only like 25 minutes long, but it was like, I just sat there and it was like, yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yes. And oh my God, and it changed my life. So if you're an entrepreneur and you're going out there and doing the thing, because part of my brain, like, it's only 20 minutes. What can I teach someone in 20 minutes? It's not going to be enough. It's not going to be good enough. I can't give all the extra information. So this is the way I chose to set my business up. Do the podcast at the top for all the newbies coming in. Who is this girl? I see her all over my Facebook page. Put your hand up if you can't get away from me. I've had about 5 people come to me this week and they're like, every time I open my Facebook, you're there. Every time I open my Instagram, you're there. Oh my gosh, I don't even have any of my social medias there and you're there in my head. So you want that for people. If you want to make a long-lasting change for people, when they decide that they're in pain and they want to change, they need to think of you. They need to think of your name. So this is what we do. We go out there and we give all the top part of the information. Anybody else who wants to learn a little bit more or has already heard that can come and do the webinar, or they can do the mastermind. And then the people that are really committed to changing their life and want the how to come to the retreat. So that's how I choose to set it up, because it's really, some people call it a funnel, but for me, it's a way of nurturing people and creating the next thing. And as a business person, when I listen to you, you guys tell me what you need. And I go, all right, I'll create a service or product around that. And mine are always very heartfelt and what I hear from you that you need. So I know there's a lot of business people on this call, a lot of mums in business. If you're doing that, you don't have to do the hard ways. Listen to the people. The people will tell you. But most of us are too caught up in our own stuff to even recognize and realize and have this awareness around what others are going through. So listen really deeply to people. This is my first retreat. It's changed a lot since then, but still one of my favorites. I say that about all of my retreats. They're pretty cool. My book, bestseller, and of course, my beautiful family. Kids are at school today, so that's good. Ross wouldn't put his shoes on this morning. If you watch my Instagram stories, you would see me pulling my hair out after 56 times. Mums, is it just me or is it little boys? You've only got girls, Kristen. Do you remember when the girls were little? Like, honestly, put your shoes on, put your bloody shoes on 1,000 times. Get in the car and they still don't have their shoes on, running out on the grass. In their socks. And I remember my mum telling me, I was like, who cares, socks? And then the socks are all green and dirty on the bottom, and then the mum has to deal with them, or dad. So yeah, it's not just me. I can see people waving, yes, yes, yes. All right, cool. A gift for you. I always end up the calls with some freebies for you. So we're back from outer space. We are doing a free, actually it's not free, it's free for you guys. If you are listening now, if you reach out, half-day workshop. So it's 4 hours with me and my sister Michelle, 6 steps to soul success. So you get both me and Michelle for 4 hours. We're going to keep it online for now until everything opens up. But yeah, free for you guys. If you say, I want to come to the half-day workshop, it is on the 18th of July. So Saturday, the 18th of July from 9 to 1. If you wanted to come, if you've already been to one, it's free for you and you can bring a friend. Everybody else out there on Facebook, they used to be $50. We've dropped it to 20 to help people out because we know people are really struggling at the moment. Some people are struggling at the moment financially. So we want to make it doable for people. If you're running your own business, let's just ask, how can I give more? How can I support people? What do I need to do? Kat says, I so need your retreat. Yes, you need to come to the retreat, young lady. Come, because honestly, only 6 spots. They'll sell out in the next couple of weeks. Okie dokie. So half-day workshop, write that in your diary. Monthly mastermind, if you're not one of my students as a monthly mastermind yet and you want to dip your toes in, full price is $80 a month. You all get a free 7 days. So just send me a PM or put a comment down here in the comments and say, pick me, please. You can get a free 7 days. At the end of the 7 days, if you love it, you stay. And I can guarantee if you make the time, effort, and energy to do it, it will change your life. When people want to cancel things, I pull my hair up because I'm like, what you're getting for $80 is unreal. It's all the tools and the tips and the techniques that completely changed my life. And you can access it from home anytime you want. $80 a bloody month is like $20 a week or something. You spend more than that on coffee. And that ain't going to change your life. So yeah, frontline emergency workers and staff, PM me because I've got a super special for you, but you all can have it for 7 days for free. And then we can start from there. So end of financial year sale. I always like to do a sale at the end of the year for people that have been hanging out to get the goodies. So $111, full price for this is $178. So you're saving $67, 67 bucks. Yep. And what you would get is a remember ring. So the ring that I wear here. And that is about reminding you of your power. Most of you on this call have already got that. You also get a Charming Creation necklace, and you get my audiobook in that price as well. And I just added in there at the end a Healy reading from Michelle. She doesn't know yet, but if you want to trial out this little machine, just send me a PM or drop it in the comments, and I will book you in a session with Michelle for 15 minutes and she can do it by distance as well, because it's energy fields and energy. It can, like, she could connect in with you and she can read that. So send me a PM. Take action, guys. If you're sitting there and go, oh, that sounds interesting, don't get off this call and just move on to the next thing, hanging the washing out or bloody making lunch or whatever it is. When you're on one of my calls, I do it with my mentor. Every time I finish with her, I allocate 10 to 15 minutes to take action, to do all those little things that are sitting in my head that I was like, yeah, I'll do that, I'll do that, I'll do that. But then I sit down at my desk and go, I've got to record next month's mastermind. And then I forget because I've got bigger fish to fry, right? So allocate 10, 15 minutes to take action. And even if you've worked with me for a while and I've said something or done something or seen something, you're like, how does she do these webinars? She's getting so much traction, getting so many people on here. Maybe I could start that. Maybe I could start a webinar every week. So watch what I do, dissect it, identify what you want, and then start doing that. 10 minutes, you've got to give it to yourself. Okay, cool. So who's ready to make a change in your life? Implement something immediately. Like I just said, allocate yourself that 10 minutes. And remember, I haven't achieved all this by having a big goal, grand dream and sitting over here and looking at that and going, I want to be there. I sat here and I thought, I want to be there. And that was a self-sabotage pattern for me for a little while. I put such a gap between me and the goal that there was just no possible way that I could make it. I chunked right up. So now what we're going to do, and I'm sitting here and my next goal is over here. I'm going to chunk right down and go, what's something little that I can do today that if I did this every day for a year's time, that I could get that thing, whether it's in your health, your relationships, whatever. Just think about the thing that you want, get clear about it. What can I do now in this moment? How can I feel even more fulfilled? How can I feel even more freedom? How can I, magnetize this stuff into my life? It's going to be a big year. It's going to be a really big year for me. I'm still questioning myself and going through a bit of the trench work at the moment. Even before this call, Gus is just like, are you all right? You seem really grumpy. And I was like, I don't know how to do anything again. I'm back to stage one because I'm setting up, I'm looking at ClickFunnels and setting up funnels for people. So it takes me out of it, but the people can still go through the processes. So I'm learning about all that, and it doesn't light me up, but it's not one of those things as a business owner that you can just outsource to someone. We need to know what's going on. We need to learn it from sort of up the top, and then employ someone or pay somebody to come in and do the finer details, but you need to know what's going on. So that's a bit of what I'm going through, and I love to share it because I don't want people to look from the outside in and go, oh, she's done this, 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 and this. There's no way I can do that. I remember feeling like that, looking at people out there and going, oh, I want that and that and that and that, but I can't do that. That's for other people. That's not for me. And then when you see me and how real it is and how every single day I just do a little bit and a little bit, you're like, oh shit, if she can do it, I can do it. I remember thinking that about people too, actually. People that me and Michelle were laughing because we're like, remember when 10 grand a month was our goal and it seemed absolutely impossible that we could ever make 10 grand a month? And then we just sort of both laughed and goes, it's kind of embarrassing. We raised our standard. It's kind of embarrassing. It seemed so impossible. And now that's the standard, at least in the minimum. And that would be uncomfortable if we only earned that much a month because we raised our standards so high. So that's possible for you and all, because I remember when my business, let me tell you this story before I get off. Now I'm going over time. I was a personal trainer I actually come out of the corporate world. A lot of you know that. I was burnt out. I become a personal trainer. Me and another trainer started training in the park. We would drag all the shit down to the park, and we would charge $20 for the boot camp. And then we're like, no one's coming. Okay, let's half price it. It's $10, or bring a friend for $10. We would spend probably 2 hours practicing that bloody routine that we were going to take them through. And for the first 4 weeks, guess how many people turned up within the 4 weeks? Like 4 people. And 2 of the weeks it was the same people. So we're sitting there making $10 after dragging everything down, and the trainer I was working with, like, this is too hard, I'm not doing it. And I said, I'm going to continue to do it because we've got a product and a service that people need. And that's what I want to say to you as well. It doesn't always, so that's what I came from. I came from earning $10 a week. Actually, I earned 20 and I had to split it with her. So that was 10 each. And that $40 for the month now. So can you see, when I was like 10,000, I nearly said 10 million. Whoa, what am I manifesting? 10,000 a month seemed impossible. It seemed over here. Now, if that's all that comes in, we feel uncomfortable. We need to make some changes. So I want that for all of you, regardless of where you are in your finances right now. We're going to change it. We're going to raise it a little bit. We don't have to make these massive big catapults, just little bit by little bit. And then so you can get the life that you want. So last page. I don't think it's going to let me go to there we go. So welcome to the tribe. If you've listened here, you'll now be on the email list to get the recording of this every week. We'll send it to you every week. Just allocate some time in your schedule. If you're not on here, just leave me an email and I can send you a copy of this. You can sign up for things like the podcast. If you want the deal with the things, just send me a PM. What else did I have to tell you? I think that's all. But welcome to the tribe. Reach out for each other, support each other. If you want more info on the retreat, let me know. And yeah, let's do this. Let's allocate 10 minutes, take some massive action for 10 minutes, go eat your lunch and come back and, you know, go through the questioning of the self-sabotage so we can start to bust them and move through it really quickly. So thank you everybody for joining me. I will see you next week and have a magical day.